And good evening. Take it away, Johnny Carlton.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of After the Game. I am the Prince, Johnny Carlton, and with the Prince, there must be a king, King of the North. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, my friend. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. The King and the Prince are back together again for another massive year. And far out, man. What a round of footy. And what are you going to start us off with?
Yeah, look, a lot of smiles right now, but there wasn't a lot of smiles all over the weekend for our HFD boys. The only person probably smiling after the end of the round was J. Crom after a good win by his boys, but the other boys, we weren't smiling at the end of the week. But that's what we're here. That's what we're here to talk about.
It is.
There was going to be a rant session today, but I was like, you know what? I've had my rant session. So, guys, if you want to see my rant session, Johnny Carlton on TikTok, make sure you get onto it. It's a 5-minute video, and I just tell everything about the game. But you want to get into it, King?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll just say good day to. So we've got a number of people in the chat already, so it's good to see. Johnsy's in there, beautiful. Toby's in there, over on. We've got TikTok and we've also got YouTube as well. So Toby and Ree's in there counting the likes. We've got who else have we got coming in? We've got JJ Masters is our Richmond man, so he'll be loving to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah.
Dam's made it in. G'day, Dam. Let me just do this.
Damn, yeah.
Dam's in.
I see my mate Robbie.
Robbie Carr. G'day, Robbie Carr. Good to have you in for the first. Is that your mate, Robbie Carr?
Yeah, my mate. Yeah, coming in, tuning in.
Welcome in, mate. Good to see you. J-Mar's just come into the chat as well. Dean, my mate from work, he's popped in, and
no worries.
he is another diehard Carlton supporter as well. So he's disgusted just like we are. So he's waiting for you to rip one go, let one go as well. So,
yeah,
and also g'day
make
to
sure you too.
Everybody over on TikTok as well. Thanks for joining us, and we'll get stuck into it. Let me just bring up bring up the graphic first for the game itself, and then we'll flick back to you, and then we'll.
I reckon we leave Carlton Richmond to the end.
Oh dear! All right.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of conversation about Carlton Richmond. I think we leave it to the end.
All right.
Also, guys, there is breaking news on Footy Classified. We're just waiting for it. There's something regarding the Carlton Football Club. So we've got eyes and ears on that. But, I reckon we should start off with Friday night, King, Hawthorn and Essendon.
All right. Well, we had the Hawks, my some would say my second team, and took on Essendon at the MCG, and they were really just too good for the Bombers. I thought the Bombers actually put up a pretty good fight. They again played out the whole game, which is good to see. But the Hawks, they led by 30, they led by 20. They didn't really let the game get away from them, and I just think that. Good on Essendon for showing a bit more fight than previous years, but yeah, I think the Hawks just too good. What did you make of it? It was let me just hang on, bring that up. It was 111 to 85, so a 26-point win to the Hawkers.
The Hawks, yes.
And what did you make of Essendon? Did you think they're going to go sort of all right this year, or same old, same old?
Yeah, look, obviously this is after the game on Thursday night. I was trying to enjoy some other football. Essendon and Hawthorn, it started off with a bang. Obviously, all the people know my boy Isaac Kako kicking the first goal.
That was good, wasn't it?
Which was good to, it was so good to see. So, and his family was in the crowd, but. Apart from that, I think Hawthorn just took over. As I said, look, Essendon, they're coming off a bad year last year. we don't know how they're going to go this year. But I feel like they showed a bit of fight, the Bombers. I actually thought they kept up with Hawthorn. I didn't see them come close enough, but they were in the fight. Obviously, Hawthorn's just ball movement was just too good for the Bombers. The Hawthorn's smalls were just too good. Ginnivan was there. Watson was there. Dylan Moore had a ripper game. And the Hawthorn midfield, they just carried along. There was a bit of a letdown by the Essendon players. I know some players just didn't perform as I thought they would. The forward line was pretty quiet in the Bombers, but as I said, like Jai Caldwell had a massive game. And as I said, look, the Bombers they were in the fight, but Hawthorn were just too good, and I'm a bit scared now heading into Thursday night against the Blues. So
I actually thought Caddy played really well again for the second time. Kako was maybe a little bit overwhelmed by the occasion, but that's normal for a brand new player coming in. But he's got some massive potential, doesn't he? So. And someone asked me, well, when I was doing the watch along, what was my 3-2-1, and I put Dylan Moore as like my 3. The run that he had during that game to get from one end to the other, and just to set up different plays during the night, and also kick a few goals, it was just outstanding. So I thought he had a absolute cracker game. So. We've got some more people in YouTube as well. Far out. It's going off over there. G'day, AKBM Official. He was in for the first time on the weekend as well. So welcome in. Dean saying get stuck into the Blues. I've seen some bad teams in the last 20 years, but this is as bad as it gets. Dylan Shield 3 votes as well from Dam. And they're saying something about Underwood figure link in the Blues.
Yeah, we'll get to the comments later.
We will.
I think. Look, the comments want it. I think everyone wants it. I think we should crack into Carlton versus Richmond.
I think we should. To the end. So let's just bring up the graphic. G'day, George. Thanks for coming in. Another new person. How are you tonight? We're good. Let it rip, Johnny Carlton. That's what everybody's here for.
You want me to start?
Let's go. All right, hang on. Let me start.
Let you start.
I'm a relatively new Carlton supporter since being in Melbourne. I've been going for them for a couple of years now. Johnny Carlton, Dean, my mate in the chat, and a lot of the Carlton people have been supporters since they were kids. Followed them for many years, a bit like I am with the Roosters. For me, that the effort and the way that Carlton played on Thursday night was just nothing like I'd seen in the last couple of years. And that Richmond side that came out was young, fit, fast, keen, supporting each other. It was like chalk and cheese. I just couldn't believe it. And you got to give these young kids a rap in Richmond. They gave them no chance at all. They were $10 on the sports bet. Carlton was $1.03, and they just came out and played for each other, and made a very experienced and what we thought was a top 4 side look very average. So, very disappointing. I don't know how they recover from this. They've got some internal issues. They've got probably coaching issues. The problems just continue from like the same old coaching problems seem to have just carried on into this year. If Wiedering goes out, you've got no backline. There's no midfield. It's just, and Kerno not being there up front, like Harry was just struggling. So anyway, it was very disappointing. Congratulations to Richmond, but I've got to leave, the rant to the Prince, and really, like, I know how disappointed you were. If you want to see some, some real raw reaction over on his TikTok, then, thousands of people were watching from, how he felt after the game. But yeah, tell us, give it to you. We've got a lot of people who have come in tonight after your predictions from last week. I think it was, should we give what the predictions were?
Yeah, I can say it if you
want. You can say it. All right. Well, give us what you said before you give us your rant, and we'll go from there.
All right, so we'll start it off. Well, my predictions last week, I said before the game, I said that Carlton were going to beat Richmond by more than 95 points, and that Richmond would only win one game for the 2025 home and away season. Now, heading to the game, I was confident. I was going with my mate. It looked like it was going to be a good night. Look, game got underway. I was so excited. Footy was back. I was there. Like, I was enjoying it. I've missed it for like over 6 months. I just wanted to see my boys perform. And that's what I got in the first half. There was some new blues that I enjoyed. I saw Frankie Evans kick a goal in the first half, which was good. It was a new Carlton basically without no Charlie Kerner in the forward line, and I think Carlton stood up to the plate perfectly until about half time. I think it just cracked when there was about 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Richmond just kicked 2 quick goals going into half time, and I was a bit worried, but like I knew, like I was like in previously, like Carlton's just having a bit of a stint. We'll come out in the second half and we'll go back to what we've been doing in the first half.
Yep.
It's like 30 points at half time. We'll roll them over. But yeah, no, after half time, it looked like a different Carlton and a different Richmond. It looked like both teams just switched jerseys at half time. That's the best I can tell you. Richmond came out in the second half. They were fit. They were firing. They were hungry. They were the first to the ball. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like Carlton were just clueless. We were under pressure. We kept fumbling. Couldn't even kick it to a player. Like we were miss opportunities, handballs, marks. It was just nothing was going our way, and the boys were just under pressure. And to be honest, as you said, if it wasn't for Wiedering down there, it would have been way worse.
Yeah.
But as I said, like Cripper just didn't, like, he tried his best, but he didn't look it. I didn't see Walsh there. Chera was just nowhere to be seen in the second half. Just no one was just performing in the second half. Like, I got to give credit to where credit's due. Like Richmond came out and they wanted it more, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Like when they hit the front, I was like, oh my god, Richmond's going to beat us in round one, and I'm going to look like a complete fool. And I did look like a fool. After the game, I went on a TikTok live, and there was about 200 people in there, and they wanted to see my raw reaction, which I got, and then the day after, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to leave the house. I just couldn't be. Just didn't want to see people. And then went home early. Just couldn't deal with work and had to let it all out. And obviously, as what the King was saying earlier, the TikTok, it's on about 29,000 views. So a lot of people have seen it. But yeah, look, as I said, it's just. I was shocked. I was speechless. I was in my chair like this, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Look, as I said, there's supporters, which everyone's probably seen the video of screaming at the players. There's supporters like that, and there's supporters that just take it by themselves and they just want to rant on their own. And That's what I did. And look, I didn't see it from a TV point of view. So apparently it was way worse on TV than what I saw in game.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was as bad as the Essendon one that happened in the tunnel. I don't think it was that bad.
Which one?
There was either Essendon. I think Essendon got booed off. Was it? And
no, I'm not talking. I'm not talking about the play. I'm not talking about the players and the supporters. I'm talking about the performance.
yeah.
It was just, yeah. Look, as I said, I've been Carlton supporter since I was born, and I feel like that was probably our worst loss in our whole club decade. Probably our worst loss in the last 30 years. And now we have to go up against Hawthorn, who just looked beautiful on Friday night. And it's not what I expected, but like as I said, boys, we got to move on. It's only round one. I completely can tell everyone here. I think I've lost hope for Carlton to make top four this year. I did have him in my top four, but if we cannot beat Richmond in the first round, then something's not right. We've been in the media the whole week, and rightfully so.
So what do
it's
you
not
do?
a bit of a
So
rant.
what are you doing with Chera and Camporelli and Harry and like all of those players that just were ball skills were terrible, just bombing it up in the air. No, like they just didn't play like a team. They just had no run, just turning it over.
Well,
How do you fix that?
Well, the most important thing I think for Carlton, what they need to do, they need to go back to basics. They need to go back to training this week, and they need to train their asses off. There's no fucking leaving early bullshit here. There's no staying late bullshit. You get there, you do the hard work, you show up, and Thursday night you make an impact. Chera, Walsh, Cripps, the experienced boys, they get around the young boys and they go, look, we've been through this. We've come back from this. Have faith. Go out there, play your best, and just watch this Carlton team happen. Look, Charlie coming in, could it help? I don't know. He's going up against a good defence. Like Hawthorn's I rate Hawthorn's defence, and it's going to be a hard task.
Yep.
But knowing that Charlie's there, it can free up Harry, and I reckon that's when Harry he's more confident when Charlie's there too. Yep. As I said, a lot of players need to be dropped, in my opinion, but we just need to see a team selection. We just need to see, look, you were not good enough this Thursday. You're out. You need to fight for your spot. This is how it is. We lost to Richmond. We do not accept this. Move on. Let's just start on Thursday night. We beat Hawthorn. We're back in the 8, 1-1. We focus on, and we just focus week by week. That's all we need to do. We need to take Richmond out of our minds. All right. I know how bad it is. We need to take it out of our minds, and we need to focus on Hawthorn as soon as possible. Because if we still have Richmond in the back of our heads, we're losing by 100 points to Hawthorn on Thursday night. That's
right. And what do you do? Like you've got Wiedering down back. Like who's there to help him out? Like if he goes down or he had to something happened to him, who is down back in defence for Carlton to one, help him out, and also if he goes out or he's brought off the field, who steps up?
Well, look, as I said, there's no Newman this year. So Newman was probably our second best defender behind Wiedering last year. He came third in the best and fairest. There's no Newman, so they need to figure out something behind Newman. Silvani's gone down back. I reckon he played good after one game. But as I said, it's got to take time. These boys got to be their new positions. Haynes coming in from the Giants. He's used to GWS's structure. He hasn't played much time with these boys. McGovern, it looks like he's just lost confidence ever since last year. He needs to go back. He needs to go, I'm a good player. I'm a good intercept defender. Needs to play. Just needs to not be scared to get near the ball. Injury, it's just that's how he is. We need our leaders in the back line to help Wiedering. He can't do it all by himself. And you're going up against a Hawthorn forward line where they have Ginnivan, Watson, Moore. Like, Wiedering can't do everything. That's where Sard, that's where Ollie Hollands, that's where Lockie Cowan, they got to step up. Yeah, it's not their first 2 games. They've played 2 seasons. Sard's played 8. Ollie's played 3. Like, it's their time for these boys to step up and go, hey, look, I want to be in this team. We want to play finals. This is what we do. We help leaders. And look how the team just gels together. That's all that has to happen. But it's all, as I said last year, it's all got to do with confidence. If you have confidence, it's a different ball game.
100%. And what about the coaching? So comments are saying it brings back bad memories of the pagan years. We stunk.
It does.
Is it
Yeah, look,
similar
as
to
I
that?
said,
Is the coaching a problem? Not necessarily the head coach, but the other coaches that are in there. Is there a problem there?
look, we can't hide behind the truth. We've had a lot of coaches in the last 10 years, and it's quite embarrassing, to be honest. Do I have faith in Voss? I do. I just think Voss needs to coach from the ground like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Voss was coaching in the box, he had no clue. He had no game plan. He had no plan B. It just didn't look like the Voss that was coaching us last year.
Yeah.
So he needs to go back to basics. He needs the good support up there from the box. And as I said, it shows this week. If he sees changes, if we see something that's changed, we know that the coach has done something in the right path. But as I said, they need to show something different than what they showed on Thursday night, because Thursday night was not acceptable.
100%. And it's like, of course, it's only round one, but you've got to. We've seen a lot of good footy this weekend, and we've seen a lot of very, very good teams that are going to be definitely in the top 8, definitely in the top 4. And you just can't, unfortunately, in this competition now, whether it's NRL, whether it's AFL, it doesn't matter. The teams have come along so much now, and they're so finely tuned that it just takes a small mistake to lose a game now, and to have a blowout like a few of the teams had over the weekend. Carlton, Port, St Kilda, West Coast had like absolute blowouts, and you can't, like, percentages is massive now. Like, getting to the end of the season and you're in that 7 to 14 range, there's no points in it. There's percentage only. So there's like 6 teams fighting to get into the top 8 spot. So to have a blowout like that at the beginning of the season just isn't it's not on anymore.
Look, I was gonna bring this up, but someone in the comments said this, and I agree 100%. He goes, as you said, mate, confidence. These blokes don't believe in each other; they don't back each other up, and that's what I saw a lot on Thursday night.
A lot.
You see Richmond, a tackle, 7 boys get to that player, tap him on the back. Wiedering does a punch. No one goes near Wiedering. They don't back him up. It's like we've just put a random 22 boys together. They've never played. It doesn't look like a team.
It doesn't.
Like when we score a goal and everything's happy, then we're smiling and everything like that. But then, as I said, like, Cowan did this beautiful intercept. Like, he ran. One player went to him. Boys, get around him. Like, show him what you did. Like, he did an amazing job. Silvani going down to the forward line. It's his first game after 700 days, and he looked good. Get around him, boys. Like, excitement. When Silvani kicked that goal, there was 6 minutes left to go. We only needed 2 goals. We can kick 2 goals in 6 minutes against Richmond. But the boys gave up. They said the game was already over.
Yeah.
There's 6 minutes of football. There's a lot of time. Don't give up. They just gave up. You could see in their faces the game was already done and dusted. So
exactly. And another one of the comments: you can't hide behind the coach. The boys have to come out and want to play and not underestimate the other teams. At the end of the day, it's 23 elite athletes versus 23 elite athletes. That's what it comes down to. So I guess the coaches can do what they can during the week, but it comes down to the players, doesn't it?
Exactly, 100%. I agree with that comment. Whoever said that, I 100% agree. As I said, the coach does a little bit, but he doesn't go on the ground. It's the players that step onto the ground. It's their responsibility. They show up. It works.
That's right. Exactly.
All right, I think it's time to move on. I mean, I'm getting frustrated.
Exactly.
And I don't want to. We've talked a lot about this game. There's still 7 more games to talk about.
There is.
We don't have much left.
Look, we've had another blowout, and like this next game, the Geelong Cats versus Fremantle. I really thought, to be honest, that Fremantle were going to show something. And the final score was 147 to 69. Again, the Kings' favourite number. That was crazy. But it was a 78-point win. But the Cats absolutely blew Fremantle off the park. So it was just it was just insane that that this Geelong team has just, I reckon they've got better from last
Look,
year.
as I'm about to say, I don't want to talk about Carlton a lot, but that Fremantle team, like Freo is, everyone has Freo up there in the top 4 with Carlton. Like that's what there is.
Mm-hmm.
And the team that came out against Geelong did not look like a top 8 team. It did not look like the Freo that we know, that we think that it's going to be there in the top 4. And Geelong just looked Geelong. Like
Didn't they?
Everyone can go watch my predictions. I put them for the grand final, and I'm loving my tip right now. They look so good. Like Bailey Smith in that midfield, just it feels like they're a bit younger again. Like Dangerfield's not there again. You know what I mean? And like Cameron's still there. It's just Geelong was just too good. As I said, look, I didn't watch a lot of this game. I probably watched like the bits here and there, but as I said, probably the only excitement from Freo's point of view was that a young kid kicking 4 goals in 10 minutes on debut. Did you hear about that?
Bailey Smith?
No, the Freo, the debut.
Oh, the Freo. Oh, yes. I was watching the game. Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, the Reed bloke. Yeah, there's a new Reed in Perth at the moment, and his name's not Harley, it's Murphy Reed. So.
That's right. Yeah, and there's a few new young players that have come out that are putting Harley Reid to the test, as far as being the best new young player. So
exactly, like you had Sam Laylor on Thursday night against Carlton, and he just looked like everyone's saying he looks like the new Dustin Martin, but look, it's one game and you can't say that. But look, as I said, like a young kid kicking 4 goals in a row to get your team back into it, it shows a lot of character. You know what I mean? Like it's a guy on debut trying to get your team. It's supposed to be the leaders. You know what I mean?
That's right. And we got the Geelong supporters in as well, and they're saying this is why Geelong has been unstoppable for the last 10 years. I love my boys. I love my boys, baby.
They have the best coach in the league. I'm telling you, Chris Scott is. Yeah. He does wonders, mate. So
he does.
What was your thoughts about the game? Did you watch it all? Or
I did watch it all. Yep. They were just dominant. The thing that surprised me, it took till the third quarter for Freo to really get a bit of a roll on and start rolling, and I was really disappointed because they bought well in the off season. They bought some really good players, and some players have gone across to Freo. So I thought they'd put up a much better fight than they did. But, mate, Geelong are just that next level. Like they're a top 4 side. I hate to say it, but again, they're going to be up there again. So, and they've just managed to buy. They keep on buying. We'll just buy another one, and we'll just buy another one, and they just find these gems somehow at Geelong. So
they do.
And it's like I think it was 19 points at halftime. They'd scored 19 points, and they let them get to about 60, and then they just put the foot down in the last quarter again, and to get to 140, nearly 150 points, insane. So yeah.
Yeah, as I said, as you said, like Geelong, they're just unstoppable. At GHBMA Stadium, they're just too good. So, exactly. As I said, like good first round, but let's see if they can back it up a second week in a row. So that's when you'll know if they're a good team or not. But very, very impressive first hit out from Geelong. Freo, on the other hand, a bit disappointing. We'll see what they have next week. But yeah, just quickly. Everyone's just in TikTok. How good are the Tigers? What happened to the Blues on Thursday? We really talked about it, guys. After this, you can go watch it on our YouTube, HFD Footy, if you want to go have a quick watch. But we unfortunately have to move on to the next games because we don't have a lot of time. But King, next game?
Next game is they just want to. The Geelong people are just saying that they're going to be premiers in 2025, but just take it easy, all right, guys? So there we go. Dan, thank you for the super chat as well. Port Hess. So there we go. He's throwing the stones at Port before we even get to the game. Typical Crow supporters, but there we go. The next game was your second favourite team versus the Sydney Swans. So Brisbane Lions went to Sydney to play Sydney. I watched this game. Did you watch this one as well? Oh, you're on mute. What's happened? Lost your sound.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. You're back. Yep.
Yeah. Grand final rematch. Yep.
Grand final rematch.
Yeah, it was. What was your thoughts? I did watch a little bit of the game, but I didn't watch too much. But what was your thoughts?
I watched the whole game. It was really good. The Lions 86 to Sydney Swans 82. Brisbane won by 4 points. Sydney had the game like the whole 3.5 quarters. They pretty much had the game, and Brisbane just kept on fighting and kept on like putting the effort in and just getting that goal back here and there, just keeping up with them all the way through. And in the end, Sydney just seemed to compete. You know, the week before when they just gave up in that last 10 minutes again, they just seemed to do that again. So yeah, good on the Lions for like to come to Sydney and get that victory, and for Sydney to go 2-0 at the SCG. That's really concerning. But yeah, they've managed. I really didn't think they would get away with it. I did tip them, but yeah, just a good effort. They haven't lost anything, I don't think, at all in their forward line. I think they're doing fine down there. The midfield was good. Defense was really good by Brisbane. And not taking anything away from Sydney either. Like the Sydney, all the Sydney big guns played their best footy on the day. So it was just a real hard slog, but they just can't seem to get the win at the end of the day. So there's new coach. He's got a few concerns, I guess, as well. So yeah, what did you think?
Well, before I speak, I've got a question for you. Do you think Brisbane are in danger without Joey Danaher, or do you think they did well without him?
No, they did fine.
Yeah, you think Joey won't be a problem for them this year?
Not at all. No, they're a quality side.
Look, I do rate Brisbane. They're probably one of my favourite teams behind Carlton. I just love watching them. Look, I was a bit worried in the start. Sydney started off perfectly, like beautiful. Obviously no Gordon there, but still like they performed well. I thought Sydney was actually going to carry away with this win. I was a bit concerned because I tipped the Lions, but yeah, look, Brisbane's masterclass just came back. Zach Bailey kicking 4 goals. Look, Rayner was everywhere, to be honest. That's what he needs to do without Joey there. Look, I reckon if Joey was there, it would have been a bit more of a Brisbane win. But as I said, like going up to Sydney and winning there, it's not easy. So Sydney were amazing last year in the SCG, and now they're 0-2, as you said. It's a bit worrying. But look, the Lions hangover, they're not there yet, mate. They keep on winning. So
no, I didn't think they'd go. I didn't think they'd do the same as they did last year. There's no way they'd go 5 losses.
Yeah. And it's good to see the Ashcroft brothers in the same team, which is a bit nervous for every other team. But if 100%. You're a Brisbane fan, very exciting. So, as I said, good win by Brisbane Lions. Just quickly, MC Labour, sponsor of Carlton, in huge trouble. Oh, I can't read it. 1 second. Can you hear me, King? Am I still there?
Yeah.
Just 1 second. MC Labour, sponsor of Carlton, in huge trouble with police. They are linked to Underworld. Okay.
Oh, wow.
One of our sponsors.
Right. There's the big news, eh?
There's the big news. Oh, I thought it was regarding a player. So, okay, there was we won't go into that.
No.
If it was about a player, we would. But if you want to go do that, go to Footy Classified. But yeah, as I said, like Brisbane just looked like they did in 2023. So hopefully they continue it. And Sydney, they need a win this week. So you can't go 0-3. It'll be very hard from from then onwards. So
That's right. And are they playing at home again, or they travel this time?
I'm pretty sure they're away this week.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's have a look at the next one. And well, I'm gonna start with the better game of the two because it seemed that there was a blowout and there wasn't a blowout. So the AFL are calling the Bulldogs Footscray now. They're not calling them the Western Bulldogs on the website. So that's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're taking the clock back to the old days.
They are. Yep. So we didn't do a watch along for this. We did the watch along for the Collingwood and Port game, which ended up being an absolute disaster. But I did flip over in the last quarter, and I took a vote, and everybody said, "Yep, let's go over to the other game." So we popped over to the other game. Bulldogs 113 to North 97. It was a 16-point win to the Bulldogs, but North kept on coming all game. So they'd get ahead, they'd come back after them. And it looked like, and there was quite a number of injuries during the game as well. There was a really big head clash and an accidental. The player went over the top, nearly broke his leg, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw that in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I was coming back home from the game.
One player got taken off on a stretcher after the clash. So he's got 3 weeks, but geez, talk about unfair. Like he was committed. It wasn't intentional, and I hope he doesn't get 3 weeks for it. But clashing with the head, I don't know what they'll do. But anyway, a good effort by North. They kept on fighting. There's a young player in North called Curtis, and he's kicked 3 last week. He's kicked another 3 this week as well. The Fords stood up, but the Bulldogs just had that little bit more class, and they were just Norton, and they've got a lot of players out, to be honest, and they really stood up, and they you could just see that they were just that little bit better than North were, and got the chocolates, but good effort by both teams. I think North are gonna win a few games this season, and to put on 97 against the Bulldogs, I think was a really good effort. So, did you see any of this one?
No, so I was actually at the Collingwood Port Adelaide game.
You were,
but the Bulldogs North Melbourne was actually my favourite game of the round because my multi got up and
nice.
Happy days. So
beautiful. There we go.
Thank you, Doggies and North, for pulling off that miracle, and my multi came home. So that was a good Saturday night in that perspective. But I did go home and I watched a little bit of highlights. I did see North were in the fight for nearly all of it. But yeah, I think the Dogs just carried away in the fourth quarter. But that's what I said at the start of the year. You're going to see North fighting, and that's what you want to see. You want to see North actually in the contest. And at one stage, I was looking in the score, and I was like, actually, North could win here. Like they could actually pull this off. Like at 3/4 time, I think it was only 7 points.
It was.
So I was like, they can pull this off. But as I said, the Dogs were just too experienced, and they just walked away with the win. And especially a really, really important win without no Bontempelli, Waitman, Trelaw in there as well. So a lot of injuries out there. But hey, a win is a win, and that's what it's important in the AFL. You need these wins. And what do you think about Archer's suspension? We were talking about that. I think it's just footy instincts. Like he was going for the ball and he slipped over and he went on his knee and he hit the guy in the head.
He did.
It's football, but. Look, North have appealed it. We'll see how the results go in. We'll see the verdict. But I personally don't think it should have been 3 weeks. I don't think the King agrees it shouldn't have been 3 weeks.
Yep.
But look, as I said, I didn't watch much of this game, and you already went on about it. But yeah, it looked like it was a good game because the game that I was at, it was a murder.
There was a murder. There was a murder at the G. That's for sure. GT just said Footscray celebrating 100 years this game just for that 1 week. So yeah, that makes sense.
There you go. There you go.
There we go. All right, let's get to the murder scene. And look, there's going to be if you come to the footy show tomorrow night, when you'll see Chris C, Johnny Carlton, and myself on the show, there is going to be a lot said about this game, and there'll be a lot said about the Carlton game as well. These two boys are not going to hold back because they are so disgusted in their teams, and Chris especially, just was beside himself and just didn't know what to say. It was probably the most pitiful effort by Port Adelaide that I've seen in many, many years. And to dish this crap up against any team, but especially Collingwood, they get pumped by Collingwood a lot over the years. But this was like Johnny said, it was a murder. It was Collingwood 136 to Port Adelaide 45, a 91. I thought they were going to get to 100, John. I really did. Collingwood 91. So, mate, I don't know what to say. Their back line was disgusting. Their turnovers, their accuracy, it was like a training session for Collingwood. It really was. Well, so anyway, you were there. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, obviously, look, I can't support at the Collingwood game. Obviously, I can't stand Collingwood. I was going for Port. Look, I was disappointed in Port. Yeah, look, Collingwood just looked way too good. Port Adelaide just did not look to fit. I can't believe they got rid of Houston for absolute peanuts. Like, you can obviously tell Houston was probably one of their best players. The way that Houston was. Like, seeing Houston live in Collingwood, it just hurt. Like, you could see,
isn't it?
It hurt for Adelaide.
Yeah.
But look, the Pies, they were on fire. The three tours, Membry there, first home game with their supporters. You can hear the Collingwood chant around the whole MCG. Like,
how good was Membry?
Oh, amazing! Like,
what
as
a game!
Hearing that Collingwood chant it drives me insane. But as I said, Membry just looked the bit. Like, he looked like that. That's what they needed. And I said at the start of the year, I said Collingwood need a tall forward. And Membry McStay, Myercheck, those three, if they can gel together. And, like, Elliott. And, like, Nick Dacos, he's good. He's him. Nick Dacos is him. The way that Collingwood moved their ball movement was absolutely on fire. Port Adelaide had no answers, like, absolutely no answers.
Hill. How good did Bobby Hill go?
Bobby showed up, and like the whole Collingwood team showed up. That's how it was.
Sidebottom had a shocker last week. Come out this week, had a blinder.
Sidebottom, he winded back the clock 10 years ago. It looked like a completely different Sidebottom. But as I said, like, it was just every single Collingwood player played their role. And, like, it was just easy. Like, Maynard was kicking goals left, right, and centre. There was no pressure on Maynard. Collingwood went from coast to coast in 10 seconds. Like, there was no pressure at all.
Nothing.
Port Adelaide they looked lost. They actually looked lost. And I thought Carlton's performance was bad. And it was bad. But Port Adelaide, they just didn't show up. And look, I'm going to say a lot now because tomorrow, obviously, it's Chris's C's team. And if I was a Port Adelaide supporter, I wouldn't be happy. So this is why I'm taking the time to say it now. But, like, I was rooting for Port and they just let me down, man. And I can't express what their supporters are feeling. And it's just... But as I said, like... I was there. I saw the whole black and white army. Like, I didn't see enough, so I'm going to the Collingwood game again this week against the Dogs. Apparently, I just don't see enough.
Yeah, God, what's going on?
I don't know. I've been to 2 Collingwood games already, and I'm a Carlton supporter. It's insane. But, like, as I said, like, the whole Collingwood chant around the ground, it's just, mate. Collingwood looked the fit. They look scary, bro, and I actually think they're going to be like a top 4, top 8 team. Dacos is just that good, and just, as I said, putting Houston, Perryman, and Membry in that team. There's no stopping him, King. There's no stopping him.
They keep him tagged for a bit of the game, but as soon as he gets loose, if you let him loose at any time, he's just gonna kill you every time. Him and his brother are they just run riot.
Mate, I wish Peter Dacos played for Carlton, mate, because I could use the Dacoses at Carlton.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, like Drew tried to tag Dacos, but he didn't. It didn't work. It did not work.
That's it.
But as I said, like Collingwood, I was there. I just saw I saw. You know what? I'll tell you, King. I saw a team that can win the flag. That's what I saw.
100%.
Sitting there, all these supporters chanting Collingwood. It was just, I hated it. I hated seeing Carlton lose on Thursday night. Then 2 nights later, I'm back at the MCG, seeing Collingwood win by that much.
If you haven't, I've experienced that feeling when you're at a Collingwood game at the MCG. It's like nothing you ever experienced before. Like if you've never heard the Collingwood supporters get in full voice, it's daunting, isn't it? Like they've just got such a presence that they get behind their team and they can lift their team so easily, you know? So it's like nothing. You've got to experience it at some stage. If you haven't, get to the MCG if you're in Melbourne to a Collingwood game, and it's scary. I've been to a Carlton game as well, and that's it's even they hate when they hate a team. It's even worse.
Oh well, there's that Carlton Collingwood in a couple of weeks, mate. Thursday night.
Exactly.
There's going to be a lot of
Oh, mate. So yeah, it's really daunting, and they're like a moving machine, you know. So yeah, so good on Collingwood.
Right.
I don't know how they got beaten by 50 by GWS, but you know, anyway, there we go. They've come back.
As I said, before we move on, that's what I just want Carlton to do. I want Carlton to do a Collingwood this week, come out firing Collingwood got smashed last week, but they came back out firing. They smashed Port Adelaide. That's all I want Carlton to do. Come out with a response. But as I said, I don't want Collingwood to win, and so Bulldogs Friday night, I'm there. Please, please.
Exactly.
All right, let's move.
All right. This was a pretty good game, and I was interested to see how they go. It was the Adelaide Crows versus St Kilda. Adelaide won by 63 points. Adelaide did it pretty easy. St Kilda aren't that much chop. They did score 72 points, so that's not too bad. But I think Adelaide just went into cruise control and let him get a few goals. But yeah, I think, and Johnny said this as well, Adelaide have got some really good, have strengthened up in the areas that they needed to strengthen up in. And I think that they are going to be a force. I can see them, and Jake Rom's probably going to hate me for this, probably, you know, get into the 8 this year. They've got to win more games away from home, obviously. But I think they're powerful enough. Their forward line, the Johnny Carlton's favourite Adelaide player, the Bear, he just had a blinder on the weekend. Tex was firing as well, and yeah, I think we're in for some good. The Adelaide Crows are in for some good times, and the Port Adelaide are in for some bad times this year. So St Kilda, I don't know. I'll get John's opinion on that, and Sanger's not real impressed with his team either. But what did you make of this? Impressive by the Crows?
First of all, special shout out to Sanger. I hope you're crying,
he's
mate.
He's in the chat. Don't worry.
Yeah, good. Make sure you cry, mate. Was Adelaide impressive? Of course they were. They came out. First hit out at home. They were expected to win, and they just looked a good, mate. their new talents like Isaac Cumming from the Giants, Neil Bullen, Peatling, like another Giant. They just look the goods, mate. But as I said, what you said earlier, can they win away from home? Can they take it the next step this year? Can Adelaide make the 8? Can they do what they didn't do last year? Bring it to teams where they can win games. But as I said, they started off the season really well, and like they controlled the whole game, Adelaide. And
They did.
St Kilda did not look like winning at all. As I said, it's going to be a hard year for the Saints. They got to show some fire, and there was just like no fire on Sunday afternoon. But as I said, we'll hear about it more from JCOM tomorrow night. But Adelaide, mate, they're a bit scary. They're a team that could shock the top 8. So
I think so.
Watch out for the Crows.
100%. How's the comments on TikTok? Looking all right? They're giving you heaps, or not? So they're being kind.
Let's have a look. There's just a Collingwood supporter and Hawthorn supporter talking. Someone said the St Kilda. I have a St Kilda mate, and he hasn't responded to me since Sunday.
No.
So yeah. So no, not much on TikTok. Everyone's just having a conversation. So
Eminem saying Collingwood and Geelong for the grand final would be unreal. That would be a disaster for everybody else. But anyway, there we go. St Kilda are terrible. Go the Crows. So yeah. Now I want to talk about this next game, and this was probably I'd put this as the best game of the round, to be honest. GWS. This is Johnny Carlton's secret weapon. The tsunami is coming, and look, after 2 rounds, mate, it looks like they are coming. They played Melbourne at the MCG. Melbourne they were good. They were very, very good. And surprisingly so. I didn't think they were going to be this good. They took it up to the Giants. At the end of the game, it was 77-74. It was a 3-point win to the Giants, but the Giants had to fight right to the last second of the game to get the win. All of the big guns for Melbourne stood up. Gawn had a good game, kicking goals in the 3rd or 4th quarter. Petrarca had a great game, plenty of disposals, but the Giants, and I don't know what little secret source you know what's going on there at the Orange Tsunami, but mate, they are a good side. So, did you watch it?
Wow. You boys put Giants out of the 8. Where did I put the Giants? Where did I tell you GWS was finishing? First on the ladder. They're my minor premiers, and now they're 2-0. And it's, mate, do I have the secret sauce on GWS? I don't know. You tell me, mate, because I'm just going with my instinct. I told you the tsunami is going to get better and better, and just one player in mind that is an absolute gem. Finn Callaghan has taken his game to another level, and he's actually going to be he could be there in the Brownlow. He could smoke it. He could be up there this year. Finn Callaghan was impressive. Like, no Hogan, no Briggsy. Tom Green came back, but as I said,
no Stringer.
Without, no Stringer. Like, they had their injuries, but they somehow pulled it off. Like, Lockie Keefe, an unlikely goal scorer, an unlikely hero. I thought he did his job against Gawn.
100%.
But yeah, look. Everyone says GWS are slow. They're getting old. I'm completely opposite.
Yeah.
The Orange Tsunami, they're just starting, mate, and they're going to rise. The Tsunami's going to go up and down. What they did to Collingwood last week, coming to Melbourne to face an MCG full crowd of Melbourne supporters, they stood tall and they looked the goods, mate. The Giants, I could see them. That's one team I could see threatening Geelong and Collingwood in the rest of the year. So, and
it bucketed down in the last quarter, so it made it really tough for both sides. And they just kept on coming. They just kept on playing dry weather football. They just don't have. They haven't got a forward line, so their forward line's pretty much out, injured. But the rest of them just are standing up and they're kicking goals from everywhere.
They are.
So just really impressive. But I've got to give some credit to Melbourne. Melbourne are the goods, I reckon, as well. They could be in the top 8. The way they played on Sunday, and I think they're going to give a lot of teams a lot of trouble this season.
Well, as normal, I disagree with you.
That's all right. You're allowed to.
Look, you have your opinion. I'm on. I don't think Melbourne are there this year. I think there's better teams. But as I said, it's so good to see Petrarca playing footy again.
Exactly.
And they did look good, but I just don't think Melbourne are going to be that top 8 team that everyone thinks they're going to be. I think there's better teams out there. So,
yep.
But as I said, good first performance. So I think we're up to the last game.
We are up to the last game, and it was the Gold Coast Suns versus the West Coast Eagles. The Eagles at home, their first home game at Optus Stadium, and the Suns absolutely poleaxed them into the ground. 136-49. It was an 87-point victory, and it's going to be a long year for West Coast.
A long year.
What did you think of the Suns?
Oh, they looked good, mate. They looked good.
They looked real good, didn't they?
They looked good. Like that's what we wanted. We wanted them to win away from home, and they showed that. Their biggest win away from home. It was I think their biggest win ever.
Yeah.
Mate, they looked good. Like as I said, like Anderson, Rao, King, like Daniel Rioli in that team now, Johnny Noble, that's a team I could see. That's a team I could see going in the A instead of Melbourne. I feel like Gold Coast is just better than Melbourne at the moment. You know what I mean? Like that's a good example. Like Gold Coast is just, I think, are quite better than Melbourne this year. But I feel for West Coast fans. Hopefully not the same year, not another year of the same stuff that they've had the last 2 years. But it looks like it. Like you get Harley Reid and everything, but you can't even like get into a 30-point margin. Like it's Gold Coast, like, and you're losing by over 60 points. It's quite embarrassing. But
West Coast just seem to be relying on Harley Reid for everything. I still think he's got some anger management issues that he needs to sort out because he gives away too many free kicks. But yeah, fair enough. He's a top line player, but the team can't rely on him alone to win them games, and they look terrible, to be honest. And they're playing at home. They get a big crowd every time that they play at Optus, but it's going to be tough for West Coast. Richmond are going to be above them, I reckon, and North are going to be above them. The way that we've seen this weekend play out, so.
Wow, you think you have West Coast finishing last on the ladder? Do you?
Maybe after it was a terrible performance.
It was. No, as I said, I agree. I didn't watch a lot of it, but as I said, just Gold Coast were just too good. So that's it. Well, I think that's the hour mark. I think we've hit the hour mark, King.
Yeah, we've got one more thing to do before we go. We'll just have a quick look at the top 8. So
we will.
So let's bring that up. Let me just
guys. If you can't see it on TikTok, make sure you go cross over to YouTube where you can see it. It's called HFD Footy, exactly like TikTok.
That's right.
If you want to see the top 8.
So I've just brought the top eight up on the screen on YouTube. So let's have a look at the top 8, and it's Johnny Carlton's favourite team in first place. My second favourite team, the Hawks, in second place. So GWS, Hawthorn, the Gold Coast Suns are sitting in third. How's that, eh?
Wow.
Far out.
Wow.
Geelong Cats are sitting fourth. Adelaide Crows are fifth. Collingwood are sixth. Richmond are seventh. And the Bulldogs are eighth. Can you believe it? After one round, you've got that top 8.
It's giving me nightmares, mate. It's giving me nightmares. It's here in Carlton, not in that eight.
Do you want me to read the rest of the ladder?
Yeah, read it out. I know we're not last, so I'm a bit happy about that.
Brisbane 9, Melbourne 10, Sydney Swans 11, North Melbourne 12, Carlton 13, Essendon 14. You're above Essendon.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters, mate. That's all that matters.
You're above Essendon and St Kilda. 14 Essendon, 15 St Kilda, 16 Fremantle, 17th West Coast, and at the bottom of the table, Port Adelaide.
Wow.
The worst percentage of all the teams.
God,
wow. He's just gonna lose it tomorrow night.
Oh, guys, if you want to see a rant, tomorrow night on the Footy Podcast, Chris C, a Port Adelaide supporter, after that terrible performance against Collingwood on Saturday night, it's gonna be must watch TV, guys. It's gonna be must watch. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 8:30 Melbourne time. It's gonna be a hell of a show. King will be there. I'll be there. We'll be talking about the next round. We'll be talking about our tips. But anything you want to say before we go, King?
No, I just want to say good to have footy back. It was a good round of footy. Lots of surprises and a few blowouts. But we don't care as long as we've got the footy back. We're happy. We got after the game back, and good to be back with you, Prince. And we'll carry on with this one right through the year. I think we've got a good show. Lots of people come in and enjoy it. So yeah, really appreciate getting together with you and talking about the footy after the round.
No worries, mate. As I said, I love this. After the game's going to be a huge 2025, and we can't wait. So hopefully you guys enjoy the ride, and until next week.
Take care. Spike your hair. Stay hunky.
Stay hunky.